This podcast is part of the It Was a Thing on TV podcast network.
An anthology on the bad, the short-lived, and forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Time is up. You ran into trouble.
Episode 589, submission number 2489, Helltown. Helltown aired on NBC September 4th to December 25th, 1985 for 15 episodes. Now, this does not include the pilot movie, which aired the March prior. This isn't just any theme here.
Oh, it's performed by who else would be doing a theme song for a show that has Robert Blake in it?
Sammy Davis Jr.
Keep us down. Yeah. Keep us down. You can't keep us down.
We're walking tall and proud in Helltown.
Helltown.
We're walking tall and proud in Helltown.
Helltown.
Now don't come and stretch your stuff, 'cause nobody's bad enough. And we're all hanging tough in Helltown. Helltown, Helltown, you can't keep us down.
You can't keep us down. You can't keep us down.
Helltown is taking care of business.
Business.
Helltown is taking care of business. If you don't toe the line, you've got to go the pine, 'cause God's working overtime in Helltown. Helltown, Helltown, you can't keep us down.
And I love how it ends with like a shot of Robert Blake's face. Like it's a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
This year for Halloween, we're taking a look at one of the scariest places to be on Earth. A literal hell on Earth. East LA in Ronald Reagan's America.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense in 1985.
It's an ugly place. It's ridden with crime. It's ridden with poverty. People live without purpose, without direction, and without hope. That's where Father Noah Hardstep Rivers comes in. Born of unknown station and raised by the orphanage at St. Dominic's of Los Angeles. If they say that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future, Hardstep would be Exhibit A. Make no mistake, he's not your typical Catholic priest. A former criminal in East LA who spent part-time in Folsom Prison. He drinks, he mildly swears, and he shoots pool as hard as he prays and ministers to his parishioners, which include a colorful assortment of former crims, bangers, pushers, and whores. In short, he's not the kind of person you want to run afoul of, because, and now I'm quoting, nobody hurts nobody in Helltown. Robert Blake, you know Robert Blake, right?
Oh yeah, Mickey from the Little Rascals. That's what everyone. Oh wait, hold on a second. Let me correct myself. Mickey from Our Gang, because the Little Rascals refers to the Our Gang shorts pre-1938, before Hal Roach sold Our Gang to MGM. So technically, Robert Blake was in Our Gang.
But he was not one of the Little Rascals.
Correct.
So Robert Blake was in the Our Gang shorts, the original Hal Roach Our Gang shorts, but not in the MGM Little Rascals shorts.
No. You got it reversed. The Hal Roach Little Rascal shorts from 22 to 38. He was in the MGM Our Gang shorts from 38 to 44.
Okay. I think I get it now.
You see, you're not adverse to the Our Gang Little Rascals lore like myself.
I'm just glad one of us is this week, because Robert Blake, kind of a big deal.
Oh yeah, in more ways than one. We're not going to get into that other stuff, because you all know that's other stuff, so what's the sense of even talking about it?
Robert Blake, he created this show. He used a pseudonym to create and write and produce this show under his Mickey Productions banner.
Oh, I get it.
Also, he was born as Michael Chupacabra.
It's Gubatosi, silly.
I was just about to say, I'm going to butcher this name so hard.
Yeah, just say it, Michael Gubatosi. Michael Mickey Gubatosi.
Yeah, he was born as Michael James Gubatosi. He became Bobby Blake for Little Rascals. And for this show, he became Lyman P. Docker.
Or a gang, silly. You said Little Rascals.
Oh,
is this going to be another Mike situation where he confused Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? Let's see how many times Chico's going to mess this up between our gang and the Little Rascals and the different.
I should have a little chart that I should just put $1 in for something. I don't know.
Yes.
Robert Blake produced and created this show for his banner, Mickey Productions. Because Mickey Gubatosi, who became Bobby Blake for the Hal Roach Little Rascals shorts.
No, you did it wrong again. The MGM or gang shorts.
All right. So, I got this. Robert Blake, who created and wrote this show and produced it under his Mickey Productions banner, because his real name was Michael James Gubatosi, who became Bobby Blake in the MGM Our Gang shorts. Only took me 3 tries. What? Would later find fame as Beretta. This is sort of what would happen if Beretta found religion?
Yeah, probably.
You watch this show, you watch the episodes, and you can see there are many similarities between that character and Hardstep. It's almost like he wrote it to include as many similarities to Beretta as possible. Took his idea to ABC, where he was making a made-for-TV movie called Blood Feud. They passed on it. Reportedly fought tooth and nail to get the pilot made, even though there was a risk, and it was a greater than 50% risk at that it would run opposite Dynasty. The movie aired Wednesday, March 6, 1985, and it did run opposite Dynasty and Hotel. Dynasty did get a really good rating. It got a 24 that night. Hotel, 18.1. Killer numbers for both shows. Helltown got a rating of 18.2, which, per the extent of our research, did better than any NBC show ever did against Dynasty. This convinced the network to order a series. There's actually a funny story about Brandon Tartikoff wanting to order the series for other reasons. We will get to that. The network initially wanted 6 episodes just to test the waters. They wanted to, hold off for a bit, wait for something to get canceled, and then pluck the show into that spot. Blake, on the other hand, wanted more, like a full front end order of at least 12 episodes to put Dynasty under control. They did get the 12 episodes. And when the original ratings hit, NBC ordered 4 more for a total of 16. This was a time when NBC was under the control of Brandon Tartikoff, who may have had an ulterior motive. Around the same time, ABC had a show in the books that they were developing called Moonlighting. Blake was reportedly in the running for the role of David Addison. This is all in Brandon Tartikoff's memoir. Knowing this, perhaps, Brandon Tartikoff snapped up Robert Blake's option for Helltown, leaving moonlighting producers to settle for their second choice.
Well, I question that from Brandon Tartikoff because if you go to the archive of American television, Glenn Gordon Caron, the creator of Moonlighting, talks about how when he saw Bruce Willis, he wanted him for the part of David on Moonlighting. And he tried to get him through ABC, and like they wouldn't budge for whatever reason. So he had to like go in kicking and streaming to get Bruce Willis the role.
So we have two conflicting stories, both on record, which is, I believe, a first for this podcast. On one hand, you have Glenn Gordon Caron kicking and screaming for Bruce Willis. ABC probably wanted Robert Blake for the show. On the other hand, Brandon Tartikoff said, and now I'm quoting, "In order to try and screw somebody, I probably screwed myself." They picked up the option for Helltown, and they went into production on those 12 episodes. And in those 12 episodes, Robert Blake surrounded himself with colorful characters to play the colorful characters. Playing One Ball, a fellow pool shooter, Whitman Mayo, Grady himself.
Oh, yes. And we did talk about Grady in the Sanford verse all the way back, I think somewhere around like, I want to say it's like 85 or 90 or somewhere in the 90s to 100s, I think, now that I think about it. But it was in the Sanford verse series of shows we did back in 2020.
Playing Lawyer Sam, an attorney and renowned atheist, is Jeff Corey, who spent 6 decades playing that guy from That Thing. This was his first and his only regular series role. Mother Margaret, or Maggie Jiggs, Hardstep's boss, was played by Natalie Corr, best known for her many roles as that elderly lady from That Thing. Most notably as a nanny. She was a nanny in The Ice Pirates.
Wait, what the hell is The Ice Pirates?
Cult movie from the early 80s.
Oh, okay.
She also voiced the nanny in My Neighbor Totoro. This was the Troma dub, not the Walt Disney dub.
I didn't know Troma did a dub of My Neighbor Totoro.
Neither did I.
Did Lloyd Kaufman do a voice at least in that?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look a little bit later. Natalie Corr took on the role from Fran Ryan, who played her in the movie, but was unable to continue due to another engagement. I thought it was The Wizard, but that would be a year later.
Yeah, because The Wizard, of course, when it was a pilot, was The Wizard of Elm Street. But obviously, when it went to series, they couldn't use that title because there was a movie series with that title.
Sister Indigo was played by Vanetta McGee, best known as Mimi Shaw on the TV version of Bustin' Loose on USA, if you remember that.
No, I don't. They made a TV version of Bustin' Loose?
They made a TV version of Bustin' Loose. It starred Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Oh, of course it had Jimmy J.J. Walker in it. Star of Good Times. And if you ever watch Game TV Go, you'll probably see him once every 2 days on Acting Crazy.
And the New Liars Club.
Oh, that's right. I did forget about the New Liars Club. That's right, Greg. How the fuck did you forget the New Liars Club? I was on that show, you know. I'm sorry, Ghost of Bill Armstrong. I'm sorry I forsook you for not remembering the New Liars Club was on Game TV Go. Yeah, you better not fucking forget that, you son of a bitch.
Mike here, chiming in with the first of possibly a few corrections. Bustin' Loose did not air solely on USA. It was syndicated.
Oh, by the way, Vanetta McGee, her breakout role was as Tina in the feel-good film of 1972, Blackula.
Blackula, the king of cartoons. What the hell was the actor who played the king of cartoons on Pee-wee's Playhouse?
William Marshall, the king of cartoons.
Yeah, my ass, the king of cartoons. All his cartoons sucked. I think the G-Man, when he was here, had a rant about the king of cartoons. Oh, if only I could call him from the skate shop and skate or die right now.
Sister Angel Cakes is played by Isabel Grandin. Stump was played by Tony Longo. We talked about him as Luke Cackley in previous entry Police Academy, the series.
That's right. But he was also in Angels in the Outfield. That had JGL, Danny Glover, and 2 future Oscar winners. Do you know who the 2 future Oscar winners were, Chico, in Angels in the Outfield?
I'm guessing Christopher Lloyd was not one of them.
No. Nor Tony Danza. The 2 Oscar winners, and I'll just say it right now, Matthew McConaughey and Adrian Brody, which now is so crazy in 2025 because you can now say multiple Academy Award-winning actor Adrian Brody.
Sister Daisy was played by Rhonda Dotson. Crazy Horse was played by Zito Kazan. He was mourner number 3 in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Cool.
And rounding out the cast as Poco Loco is Eddie Quillen, best known for his role as Eddie Edson in Julia, with one Diane Carroll.
Oh.
This is going to be a show as gritty and as grimy and as dirty as Los Angeles itself. And everybody was going to make sure that you knew it.
Oh, yeah. LA in 1985, it's, ugh. These are the mean streets of LA in 85, Chico.
Not that Beverly Hills stuff.
No. Beverly Hills Cop, that was like a cakewalk compared to Helltown.
Imagine Hell's Kitchen, but on the West Coast instead of the East Coast.
And no Daredevil to help save us.
So let's talk about the pilot movie. It basically establishes the premise, and that is Father Hardstep, Noah Rivers, a rugged, street-smart priest, attempts to drive vice and corruption out of the vicinity of his parish. So we fast forward to September, and the first episode, Let My Jenny Go. Hardstep tries to help a prostitute. He learns that her biological mother is in prison, so he takes her to meet her mother, but the girl is unmoved. Playing the girl is Doran Clark, who, up to this point, I believe, she would have been in Emerald Point NAS.
Do you know who was in Emerald Point NAS?
Dennis Weaver, Seal Award.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Yep, there you go.
And I knew you'd bring up Dennis Weaver because I will bring up any chance to mention Duel, which is my low-key favorite Steven Spielberg movies. It's by Steven Spielberg, Wings. By the way, let's see, where are we at now? It's now 289 episodes ago since for the first time ever I mentioned I Love Wings. And you know what I rented from the library today?
Let me guess. Wings the complete series.
No, I rented Wings the first 2 seasons on DVD at the library.
Sorry.
They didn't have the complete series. That would be like so massive for like something from the library.
Doran Clark was also in a couple other shows that we talked about. She was a guest on Hotel, and she was in Tucker's Witch and The Powers of Matthew Starr.
Oh, so 3 things we talked about are on the podcast.
Another person we've talked about before on the podcast is, in this episode, playing Sarah, Bibi Besh.
That's right, because we did talk about her in the famous Teddy Z, but most of you will remember her as Dr. Carol Marcus in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And she's also the mother of Samantha Mathis. Oh, hold on a second. I need to interrupt for a moment.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Big Dumper just hit a solo home run to tie up Game 5 at 2-2 in the 8th inning. I do not care who wins the series. I'm just going to root for whoever because F the Dodgers. Sorry to every Dodger fan listening, but whatever. I don't care.
Episode 2, The People versus Willie the Goat. Father Rivers witnesses a living miracle when Willie, the church's mascot goat, becomes an inspiration factor in bringing an abandoned child out of his catatonic state.
Wow. That is a true inspiration, Chico.
A miracle involving a little boy by the name of Timmy. Timmy, played by Taliesin Jaffe, who you would know through his many campaigns as a member of the voice acting / RPG collective Critical Role. Playing an older version of Timmy, Gino DeMoro, I remember him best as Marvin Nedick, Valley's champion wrestler on the Career Day episode of Saved by the Bell.
Oh, that was a legendary episode of Saved by the Bell.
And playing a character by the name of Cheney, Larry Cedar, he made Square One TV.
Oh, yes, he did.
He was the host of damn near every game show on the show.
Why isn't Square One airing on the PBS Retro channel on Plex?
I don't know.
People hate math. One more thing to add, and a little behind the scenes. I told Greg and Chico that I would be making at least 2 edits to the guest stars on different episodes of this series, because invariably they're going to miss somebody of note from a classic TV show, because one of their fortes is like 90s and 2000s TV, and the other is more of a contemporary person. They forgot somebody from a classic TV show. Playing Parker in this episode is William Boyett. He was Sergeant McDonald on Adam 12, which means he was the boss of Reed and Malloy. Again, I watch Adam 12, I don't want to say religiously, but it's on my TV when I'm getting ready to go to work in the morning. Told you guys you'd miss something, haha. Episode 3 coming up now.
Episode 3, Fast Louie. Father Hardstep loses his cool when Fast Louie, an old con man, shows up and tells the orphans he's the priest's real father.
Ooh.
Peter was played by Dan Ponce. He was credited as Danny Ponce, and this was 2 years before Valerie.
Oh, that's right. He was on Valerie / The Hogan Family.
Episode 4, Helltown Goes Bananas. Father Hardstep must sacrifice the classic Woody station wagon to help a bag lady after a group of winos known as the Magnificent Five steals the money she had been in to buy a stained glass window for St. Dominic's.
The Magnificent Five. That sounds like the teen version of the Four Horsemen.
Episode 5, I Will Abide. Maud attacks a pimp who is trying to entice her teenage foster daughter. Father Hardstep tries to stop the police from arresting the woman who used buckshot to protect her daughter from said pimp. Playing Tony, presumably the pimp who takes one in the butt, is Don Stroud. He was in 46 episodes of Mickey Spillane's The New Mike Hammer.
Oh.
He played Captain Pat Chambers, the police captain who for one reason or another, ran afoul of the Private Eye. 2 bonus kids in this episode playing JB, Jason Hervey. This was before the Wonder Years. And playing Dennis, Casey Martell. This was after E.T. and the Monsters' Revenge.
Also, I should mention, Jason Hervey famously, the bike scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And I should mention, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is getting a Blu-ray release in the Criterion Collection, Chico. And I also mentioned in the previous episode of the Squared Circle Time Machine that Jason Hervey has an autographed card in a TNA TriStar set. Because obviously, he was business partners with Eric Bischoff.
Another name the lads forgot. Playing Lieutenant Matt Barton in this episode is Guy Stockwell. We've talked about him in the past because he's the older brother of Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap. And you know how much we love Quantum Leap around these parts.
Episode 6, Stumpy Boy. Stump flees when he's accused of attacking a woman. Now Hardstep must find him before the cops do. Playing Vince, somebody we've talked about a number of times on this podcast, Bino Palouse, Voyager's
Yes.
Best of the West. And playing Tommy, Danny Nucci, Fabrizio from Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
And also playing a judge, Bea Richards, Aunt Ethel from Sanford and Son.
Oh, how nice. We have Brady and now we got her.
Episode 7, Lords of War. Father Hardstep tries to stop an escalating gang war with his unique brand of spreading the faith. The priest draws from his own prison experiences to prevent violence sparked by 2 lovers crossing gang boundary lines. Episode 8, The One Called Daisy. Father Hardstep consults Judith, a rape counselor, to help Sister Daisy recover from her trauma. Hardstep helps Sister Daisy deal with the issue of rape and unwanted pregnancy by consulting Judith, a rape counselor, to help her recover from her trauma. Playing Judith, Cassie Yates. We talked about her when we did all of the hotel guests.
Oh, yeah, I do remember it from the episode. Yep.
She played Sarah Curtis on a handful of episodes of Dynasty. Episode 9, Love and the Four Corners. Father Hardstep intervenes when a group of women threaten to leave their barfly husbands, seeking a solution to the matrimonial problems created by said bar. Lupe Ontiveros played a lady by the name of Angela.
What was that name, Chico?
Angela.
Angela.
She would go on to play Eva Longoria's mother, Juanita Mama Solis, on Desperate Housewives. Episode 10, My Girlfriend Annie. Father Hardstep travels to a small desert town to investigate the suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of his dear friend and former love interest, Annie Turner. And the answer to his troublesome question is murder. Annie Turner does appear in this episode. Not going to talk about the actress. Not notable. But Dutch in this episode, played by James T. Callahan, who played Mr. Powell, Walter Powell, in the later seasons of Charles in Charge.
Not the one that had Jamie Widows that we covered earlier this year.
Also, one of the kids, Kim Cole, played by Jenny Lewis.
Oh, yes. I think we have talked about it because she was in Life of Lucy, obviously. But, of course, when you think about it, you think Rio Kiley, her work as a musician, obviously, and her role in The Wizard. Not the 1986 series. I mean, the 1989 movie about the NES with Fred Savage.
Episode 11, A Wedding in Helltown. Two fathers-in-law endanger the marriage of Kate, a woman from Helltown, and David from Beverly Hills. A former Helltown resident's father, recently released from jail, nearly ruins her marriage to the son of a wealthy family. Kate was played by Alicia Naff, best known for her roles on Fame and General Hospital. She actually did a voice on a 2021 episode of Star Trek Lower Decks, too.
By the way, I should mention, as an addendum to the big dumper home run, the Mariners did go on to win 6-2. So right now, Mariners are up 3-2 at the time we're recording this in the ALCS.
I'm ready for the Mariners-Dodgers World Series. It's going to be epic.
Well, you know what? I think the Mariners are on a high after Harpy the Salmon won his first ever salmon race last week in that 15-inning marathon. Maybe there's hope for the Bronx Giraffe at Citi Field.
Yet again, the guys forgot another somewhat successful actor who appeared as a guest on this episode. Playing Leon is Tyg Andrews. He was Captain Adam Greer on the Mod Squad. 123 episodes. But also, the place that we've talked about him, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but sort of goes with the territory if you talk about Tyg Andrews. He did a week of Celebrity Beat the Clock in 1979/1980. Because anytime anybody from Beat the Clock in 1979/1980 is mentioned on this podcast, we've got to mention it on this podcast. It's in the bylaws. I mean, I wrote it up. I'm like the guy who, runs this show in terms of, paying the hosting and whatnot. So, yeah, that's like one of the rules. If we ever talk about somebody who appeared as a celebrity on Beat the Clock, we got to talk about it.
Episode 12, The Rat Man Cometh. An ex-prostitute tries to cope with double-dealing corporate hounds who are harassing the tenants in her neighborhood. No character name given, but we have somebody in this episode played by Alan Fudge.
Now, this is where I wish I had the clip from A Christmas Story where Ralphie says, "Oh, fudge."
Oh, fudge.
Only I didn't say fudge. I said the word. The big one. The queen mother of dirty words. The F-dash-dash-dash word.
What did you say? That's what I thought you said.
And playing a porno director, it's not Alan Fudge. It's Bob Hoy. Bob Hoy, he of the High Chaparral and Our House. Episode 13, The Last Kiss. Father Hardstep is attracted to Shirley, a woman who is helping illegal aliens hide from immigration authorities.
Wow, this would be very timely in 2025.
And the last episode, One Ball. Former pool hustler One Ball makes a deal with a ruthless gambler to raise money for a boy who needs a heart transplant.
Okay.
And those were all the episodes. The show was unlike anything produced on television. It did boast some big-name guest stars, mostly in the form of child actors who are getting their start, kind of following in Bobby Blake's shoes there, but also from old Hollywood. And the thing of it is, it also insisted upon using actual people as extras and shooting on location in East LA rather than using sound stages, which was actually rather novel for a show. So what happened? The show itself was not a problem. A hard-as-hell pastor looking to rid the streets of crime. The average viewer may find that a bit hokey, a bit unbelievable, but then I remember watching Father Biff.
Yeah, because Father Biff, he was tough, but tender.
And so was Father Hardstep. He was tough, but also tender. people said of Helltown, and this is a review talking, look for the hoodlum priest to establish a foothold that could develop into a long-term association with NBC. The show consistently placed in the top 50, especially during the early run. Through it all, it was almost like Robert Blake was daring ABC to put Dynasty on opposite the show. So they did.
Oh, no, that's not good. You're not going to beat Dynasty. Come on, everyone wants to see freaking Joan Collins and Linda Evans. They want to see cat fights. They want to see if they might kiss.
Early in the run, Helltown scored as high as a 7 as a number 7 show, doing better than the erotic lead out Highway to Heaven. Yeah, you have Highway to Heaven, and then you have Helltown.
That's a great combo, though. You have Highway to Heaven followed by Helltown. You have Heaven followed by Hell. Should have been a ratings winner.
And if you think about it, isn't Robert Blake just Michael Landon with a wicked right cross?
Yeah, basically. He's the opposite of Michael Landon.
On September 25th, a full 3 or so weeks into Helltown's run, Dynasty premieres its new season in time to knock Helltown from its highs of being number 7 all the way into the late 30s. Week 4 dropped to number 46.
Oh, God.
It gets worse. It was put on hiatus for a couple of weeks due to the postseason.
Okay, so this is 85. This would be the league championship series. So this would be the first year it was a best of 7. So 85 ALCS, we had Toronto and Kansas City, which actually went the full 7 games because in that series, Toronto was up 3-1, where normally if it was a best of 5, Toronto would have gone to the World Series, but because it was a best of 7, the Royals went on to win games 5, 6, and 7 to go to the World Series. And the 1985 NLCS was the Cardinals and Dodgers, which went 6 games. And that's where Jack Clark hit the big home run in game 6.
It was put on hiatus, Helltown, for a couple of weeks due to the MLB postseason. It did return to slightly higher ratings, but of all the shows that aired in the 85-86 season, and there were 82 of them, take a guess where it landed.
Okay, 82 shows, so 63rd?
Actually, higher.
Okay, 57th.
Higher still.
50th.
50th. It was tied for 50th with the Disney Sunday night movie. It was a top 50 show. All in all, it was number 50, but coupled with a walkout on Robert Blake's part due to his mental being all messed up, the ratings did not justify continued productions, and NBC ran out the order with the final episode airing on Christmas night of 1985.
That's not good when you have your final episode on Christmas. It's ironic for a show called Helltown to have your final episode on Holy Day.
Soon afterwards, Bobby Blake, he swears to God, Brandon Tartikoff, after screwing him out of moonlighting, allegedly, saved his life by canceling Helltown. He said in an interview promoting off-broadcast runs on, of all places, CBN, there's no question if Tartikoff would have picked the show up, he would have killed me. He would have been my executioner.
Well, good thing nothing bad would ever happen to Robert Blake in his life ever after this.
He says, as God is my judge, I promise you, I couldn't have kept that show on the air. There was just nothing left of me. I couldn't remember which script we were shooting. With my weird ego and pride, I couldn't let the show deteriorate. So I just drilled myself into the ground. Yes, he created the show, he produced it, he started it. Some would argue, and they would be right to do so, that Helltown was literally burning him out. He says in the same interview, I have a tendency to forget that I'm a person and think that I'm God. I can act until hell freezes over. It's just trying to do all that other stuff. The show did go on to run a year later on CBN. It was never given an official home release, but full episodes and the pilot movie are available right now to stream for free on YouTube. Greg, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, come on, when you're going up against Dynasty, I mean, come on, are you really going to beat that in 1985? It's like all those shows we've talked about that went up against Dallas over the years on Friday night. It's like, you're not going to beat this. So it's like, oh, you're not going to have a chance.
It ended up being replaced in January of 86 by another show that is on the list that we may talk about sometime next year. You know what? It's after September. I'm ready to do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. We didn't have the money in the bank. I didn't even announce that we were going to do it. Okay, well, that's here we go. He's going to give the briefcase to the ref, and he's going to give the briefcase to the ref. Or if you want to have the equivalent in TNA, you'd have like a trophy, and then you'd give it to the ref.
Would you settle for an Ultraman Funko?
Sure, Nick Nemeth, I'll take that.
Okay. This is going to be the show that we record in early January, shortly before I go on vacation for my birthday. The show that replaced Helltown on NBC's schedule, starring Hal Linden and Harry Morgan, Black's Magic.
Oh, Hal Linden and Harry Morgan on one show? This sounds like a winner. Barty Miller and Joe Friday's assistant in the Dragnet 60s run. He can't lose. Wait, how did I forget that Harry Morgan was Colonel Potter on MASH? How could I forget that? Yeah, no one thinks of him as Joe Friday's assistant in Dragnet, even though he plays that same role in the Dragnet 87 movie.
So that's it. That's the show. It started out as Robert Blake's second coming. Unfortunately, nothing but a miracle could save Helltown from becoming a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Now, I know we promised you a re-ranking of the TV Guide's top 50 worst shows this week. So we will record that next week and have it for you guys, hopefully. But next week, we're going to talk about a show that we've been probably wanting to talk about for years now. And it was, oh man. Well, Chico, what do you get when you have a popular show moving to a new night and you have a show that you want to have as the lead in program to that popular show, which is a show that is a ratings winner in its second season? So you have this new show premiering right after it, and you think, okay, all the ratings from this show is going to go to this show. We're going to own this 1 hour on Thursday night. It's going to be so fantastic. And nope.
We'll talk about a few real women of the 90s when we reconvene next week on It Was a Thing on TV. For Greg, I'm Chico.
And I'm apparently chopped liver. Mike here, thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and come back here next week for that episode. Greg, send us home with a rar.
Wow!
It's no secret that Father Biff is the most successful 15-second action-oriented religious program in television history. So now let's check in on the latest episode of Father Biff.
I don't care how tough or tender you are, Father Biff. We're sick of you kicking our butts all the time. And this time, we're gonna kick your butt.
Looks like I haven't got a prayer.
Drop it, punk.
Thanks, Sister Kathy. Now maybe you'd like to join me in a little tag team butt kicking.
Now it's tag team butt kicking.
Yeah.
There's a new little character there.
Yes, it's Sister
Kathy.
Sister Kathy.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, let me ask you something. Would you say that Sister Kathy is also tough, butt tender?
Well, it seems to me that she's more devout but dangerous.
Ah, I see. Devout but dangerous. Yeah. Didn't you think, though, that Sheena Easton was terrific as Sister Kathy?
I certainly did.
This is another fine mess you've gotten us all in.
Now what are we going to do? All right, let's do a commercial. See, that's if life were like television. We'll be right back.